Hello coders, welcome back to Tutor. And so guys, it's been a long time since I made any video. So today we're going to build this amazing project in which I'm going to build a component which will help us to drag and drop any image file to upload on our website. Guys, this is just the front end and we're not implementing the backend to upload the photos on the backend server. For this video, we're going to implement only front end side of this project, and we're going to use a package called react-dropzone to create this project. So guys, let me quickly demonstrate this project to you. So I'm going to find some images, and here are some images. So let me demonstrate how this project is going to work. So if I'm going to drag an image from here and drop it on this icon, then you can see that it is saying my files are accepted, and a thumbnail of this image is shown here. So similarly, if I want to upload two images or more than one images, then I can do that too. But if I'm going to upload more than two images, then it is going to give me warning that maximum two files are allowed. So this is also the feature we are going to implement in this project, and with that we are going to also implement validation, that is when we upload images that is going to work fine, but whenever you upload any other file than image, then it is going to show us similar warning that the file not valid, choose from .png, .jpg or .jpeg file. So these are the files which we are going to accept in this project, and this is not limited to these files only. You can upload any type of file just by dragging and dropping on your website or your component. Similarly guys, if I don't want to drag or drop and I want to upload by clicking on this icon, then I can do that too, and by default that is enabled, so you don't need to code for that. You just need to code for the drag and drop functionality, and everything else will be done itself. So guys, let's start this project, and first of all we have to create a new project or new React application. And guys, for this application we are going to use Tailwind CSS. So let me quickly install or create React app and install Tailwind CSS in that. If you guys don't know how to create a React app or how to install Tailwind CSS, then you can watch few seconds of this video from now. But if you already know how to create a React project or implement or install Tailwind CSS, then you can skip 2 or 3 minutes from this video. I will give the timestamps in the description. So let's start. So first of all, we are going to create a new React app with npx create react app and react project name. So in this project name we are going to give the react drag and drop name. So now it is going to create a project for us, and after that we are going to open this project in a VS Code. So in this project you can see there are many files, and one of them is the app.js, and this is a file where we are going to be coding. And first of all, let me start this project and see how our website looks. So here is how it looks, and now we're going to change the default code for this project. And first of all, let's delete all the unnecessary files, and let me remove this code from here and just print hello code. And after that, in the index.js we have to comment or remove the testing libraries, and now our page is going to work fine. So this is how our page looks now. So now let's move on and install the Tailwind CSS. And to install Tailwind CSS, you have to search this query and you are going to find this page. From this page we are going to copy this command and run it in our terminal. So now it is going to install Tailwind CSS, so we have to give the permissions, and we have to run both the commands, and it will create two files, that is postcss.config.js and tailwindcss.config.js. And now again, if you go to the documentation, then you will find this code which I have to paste in the tailwind.config.js, and these are the files which we are going to be using Tailwind CSS. So now let's copy this code here and paste it in the index.css, and remove all the existing code and paste it on the top. Ready to use Tailwind CSS in our React application. So first of all, let me restart the project, and the code which I am going to write from Tailwind CSS is going to work, and we have to include the Tailwind CSS classes in our component, and that will work fine after restarting. So here you can see the Tailwind CSS classes are now working, and I can style it as I want. So now let me make it bigger and thicker. So now I'm going to center it, and now change the text here to drag and drop. And if you are still confused, then you can watch this video on my channel, which I have created a few months ago. And now let's move on and install the package which we are going to use in this project to create the drag and drop functionality, and that is the react-dropzone. And when you search on the Google, you can find these links. So now I'm going to open from npm.js, and as you can see here, this project is very popular, and about 2 million people are downloading every week this package. So we have to copy this command and run it in the terminal in the VS Code so that we can install this package in our project. So now it's going to install this package, and we have to wait for some time. And now in the documentation, if you can see here in the usage section, we can see that we can use this package in two ways: by using the hooks and by using the wrapper components. And we're going to use the hooks in this project or in this video, so we're not going to worry about this wrapper component, but keep in mind that we can use in two ways. So now let me create a folder here that is called components, in which we are going to be using or coding the components for this package. And now let's create a component called drag and drop inside this components folder, and keep in mind the naming convention that first letter should be capital. So now this component is created, so we are going to just create a draft component, and now we're going to import this inside our app.js and try to use it. And keep in mind that if you want to use multiple components, then you have to wrap inside the fragments. So I'm going to wrap these components inside the empty fragments, and always remember to import the component directly or properly from the components folder. And after everything is done properly, our component will be imported in our website, and after some time and refreshing, you'll see this. That means our component has been imported, and now we can code our component as you want. So now let's import use-dropzone from the react-dopzone, and we'll use that to create our drag and drop functionality. So make sure that you are properly importing use-dropzone from react-dopzone. And after that, let's remove this code from here and write our component or a section, so that we can create our component and all the related divisions. So let's write a section here with the class of Tailwind CSS, that is text center, which is going to center everything between. And here you can see the component has been created, or the section has been created. And now let's move this component little bit at the bottom by giving the margin. And now let's create area for dropping the image, that is going to be the div, and inside that div we will be creating a new input tag. And now let's write a paragraph to show the dialog that we have to drop our image file or file to upload. And now let's use dropzone hook to get properties of this package, that is get the root properties and get the input properties from dropzone, and that is use dropzone. You can write similar code like this to import all these properties, and we are going to be using these properties in that div and input tag by using destructing method. And now we are going to destructure these properties in the components like this, and you have to also destructure the property and give some parameters like this with the class name. And inside the input we are going to destructure this get input properties. And after saving the file, guys, now it is going to work as if you click on this, it is going to show the upload dialog. And now if I am going to try to drop a file on this, it is going to work, but nothing will appear because we haven't provided a preview component or haven't created a section to preview the image. So now let's console log these files. So for that we have to import one more properties from this use-dropzone, that is accepted files, and after that we are going to create a variable with the use state so that we can store those accepted files inside that variable. So let's create that variable, that is files, and set that function with set files, and now we're going to use state to create this state. And now let's import the use state from the React, and it is going to be array so that all the files will be stored in that files. And now let's use this callback function, that is on drop. Whenever a file drops on this component, our files state will be going to updated with all files. So we're going to use our map on these files, and we have to assign an object in each element of those use state array or the files array, and in those objects we are going to save the preview link or the object link that is going to be saved as the preview.url.create object URL, and it is going to save an URL for the image preview inside those array, and it has the key as a file. Now if you're going to open the console and drop a file again, then it is going to show the properties of those files, as we are going to log or console log these files. So now as you can see here, we have seen an file here, and as you can see all the properties which we have created an object with. So now let's use these properties to preview our image or show the thumbnail of the image we are going to upload inside our component. And first of all, let's remove this console log code here, and now let's import an image in this project and style this component so it looks good for us. So now let's find the image that I've created, and the image is an icon of the file, which you will find in the link in description or in the project folder, which is going to be uploaded on the GitHub. So make sure to check that out to find this icon. And now I'm going to move this icon in the components folder, and I'm going to create a new folder that is images, and inside that I'm going to paste this image, and we are going to use those images inside our components. Now let's create a folder called images, and let's move those images or icons inside this folder. So now I'm going to import this image inside our component by writing import add file icon and import from the file location that is going to be inside our components folder. And inside the components folder we find the image folder, and inside that the file name .svg, and now it is going to be imported inside our component, and now we can use those or use this icon inside our application. So now let's write an image tag here and give the source as the file source, that is AI file icon, and inside the curly bracket, and give this an alt text of set file or add file. And we have to give the class names so we can style this image, and before that the parent tag should be styled properly so that we can use this component properly. So let's create this component as point cursor so that we can see the thumb symbol on the mouse cursor. And now let's center this image or text, and as you can see here it looks good now, but we have to center or give some margins and make this text little bit bold. And now if you're going to drop an image, and now if you're going to upload an image, then you can see nothing because we haven't created a preview component or preview section. So now let's create the preview section with the file's name, and now let's write some code to show the images we upload or select and drag and drop. So first of all, let's create a section here or div that is going to be used for thumbnail of these files. So it will go like this with an image preview and image tag here, and in the source we are going to provide the file source or the URL of this preview file, and in the key we have to set the key that is going to be file.name, which is also property of this file object. And set the alt text. Now in the source, let's give the file source that is the URL of this preview files, and that is file.preview. And after saving the project, we will see preview of these images after uploading the files. And now let's try to upload multiple files, then you will see all the images on this website or application. But for now it is not styled, so it is going to look bad. So now let's style these images, and for that let's style the parent div or parent tag with the margin, padding and width and height. And now let's give some margins, and in the image tag let's style these two and give the height of auto, width of auto and height of full, and let's round the images or give the border radius with the rounded of medium. And now it looks like this, and now let's center these images with flex center. But if I'm going to upload more files, then it is going to be synced, so I have to wrap these images with the flex wrap. And now it looks like this, and it's all good now. So now let's move on and revoke or remove all those URL links from our objects or array so that it prevents memory leaks. And after image is loaded or unloaded, let's revoke each URL or each preview URL from the object. And as of now everything is working fine. So now let's add some validations, and suppose we have to accept only 2 files, then we will do like this with max files 2, or whatever number you give here will be limited to that. And after that, if I try to upload multiple files, then it is not going to accept. So in case we don't accept those files, we have to print some dialogues. So for that I'm going to print some errors or some dialogues whenever we don't accept or the files are rejected. And for that we have to import a property from the use-dropzone, that is rejection, and we are going to use these file rejection properties or array in our preview or dialogues. So for file rejections, each file rejections, we are going to show some dialogues for now. So now let's console log all those files with the map, and let's, for each file we have to console log the file URL or file object. And after that, if I try to upload multiple files, then for each rejected files this is going to show an object, and inside those each files you can see an error and file names or descriptions, and you can see the error code as too many files. That means the files are more than we demanded. So there are 4 these types of codes, and we'll use 2 of them, that is invalid file type and too many files. So now let's use this code here. And as you can see here, it is going to show the too many file codes. So now we're going to use this code in the error component, which we are going to create now to show the errors. And now let's create that error component inside the utility folder inside the components folder, and after that we'll show errors from there. And as you can see here, I'm going to create an error.jsx and a draft component here, and now I'm going to try to import this component inside the drag and drop component, and we'll try to use those as preview of errors. So now let's try to show this error component for each file rejected for now. So I'm going to just import this error component here, and make sure the component is imported properly. And now I'm going to try to upload too many files, which is going to be rejected and show us error, and we have to return these 2. So as you can see here, there are multiple error component shown in the application. So now we're going to change the message or change the message to whatever we want to print, and for that we know the codes of these error types, and we are going to conditionally render these components, and whenever we want to print those components. So for each error code we are going to print or show this component one time. As you know, each time we are going to show only one error. So for these files having an error of at least one error, so we are going to write the index 0, and for each error type we are going to show this component. And let's give this component or error component props of error message or the error file, and now let's import it as the prop and use this. So there shouldn't be a problem. So now let's change the prop name as error m, and now let's show those error codes first. So as you can see here, the error code is on here. So similarly, there are an error type for file not valid. So we are going to make sure that our file is accepted only whenever that is image. So let's accept the images only, and we have to write an object like this, and we have to give the properties of whatever file we want to accept like this. For now we are going to only accept image or png files, and inside those we have to write an array like this. You guys can find the link in description to check what are the files that can be accepted in this component, and for now I'm going to accept the images only. So now let's try to upload the file other than image, and it will give us error. And let's copy the error types here so that we can conditionally render or show the dialogues in the components error component. So let's copy it here and try to upload multiple files and show the error code and copy that here. And now we're going to write condition in the error component with the if fields, and if the error code is file not valid, then we are going to show a different message, and if the error code is too many files, then we'll show different message. So for that, let's try for invalid files and write a dialog here, and we have to return some sec divisions or component, and we'll write file not valid. Similarly, for too many files, we'll write if the too many files are given, then we are going to show only 2 files are accepted. And now let's try to upload invalid file and too many files. Then you can see the code here or message here. And if I try to upload invalid file, then it is going to show this message. So now let's style these components little bit so it looks nicer, but you can skip this section. So now let's style these components with text large or extra large, and give this color of red because this is a warning, and make this text a little bit smaller. Similarly, you can style any way you like, but for now let's quickly style these and see how it looks. So for now guys, we are showing the dialogs for rejected files only, so let's show the dialog for accepted files too. Whenever you accepted files, let's show the message that we have accepted the file. So for that you have to use the file accepted or accepted files, and similarly we are going to show the error for only one time, because each time we are going to get an error of one kind. So now let's show the dialog here. I'm going to write this component quickly, and as you can see here, the success message has been shown here, and let's style it a little bit with text green and a smiley face. And guys, you can see here the component is working fine and our project is done. So let's try to upload all of those files which is going to be rejected and accepted. So first of all, let's try to upload more file than 2, then it is going to show an error. And let's try to upload invalid file, then it is going to show the error again. And let's try to upload only 2 files so that you can accept here, then you can see the successful message here. So guys, that's it for this video. Make sure to check the code in description. I hope you like this video, and if you do so, please subscribe the channel to get more videos like this, and stay healthy, keep coding, keep watching tutorial.